What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, YouTube at Inside the Game Official, those networks around the globe. Thanks to our friends over at Fired Up Network. You can join us on SoundCloud and all those other platforms everywhere, and of course, those TV streaming networks around the world. I'm talking about Roku, Amazon Prime, ESTV, Jinx Esports TV, and a whole lot more. Scott, it's a long list. And there's a long list of things to talk about today. What do we have?
We're going to start off with some CD Projekt Red bad news, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we'll move into Sea of Thieves' new update for Season 10. Skate 4 playtests are going to move to console, and I'm very excited about that. The Xbox dashboard update has angered some, and Turtle Rock new game, we're getting a little bit of hints towards what that's going to be.
Oh, I look forward to talking about that, so let's dive in. Scott, topic number one, dudes. We don't like to do this very often, but we gotta start off with some sad news. This is CD Projekt Red lays off over 100 people. Sophie McCovey over at GamesIndustry.biz had this to say. CD Projekt Red is laying off 100 people as it undergoes, quote, several deep transformations, end quote, within the company. Adam Kaczynski, CEO of CD Projekt, announced the news in a blog post. After reshaping the development process for its ongoing projects, Kaczynski said the developer is, quote, now focusing on redefining the shape of their teams, end quote. Having assessed the teams within CD Projekt Red and their, quote, expected contribution to the delivery of their strategy, end quote, Kaczynski concluded that the developer is overstaffed. Scott, that sucks. The hearts go out to everybody working on everything over there at CD Projekt Red and those who have been affected by this. Hopefully they land on their feet relatively quickly and they'll be able to get back into the games industry. This used to be something of common practice within our industry. It's something we've seen over the years change, which is nice because teams would wrap up a game and then, okay, you're laid off. Go find another project, right? And then you'd find another project and then you wrap that one up and then they just lay off. Teams would start small, expand for the latter half of the game production so they can get production up and running faster and get it done out the door quicker, and then all of a sudden just lay them all off, which hurts and it kind of deteriorates your need and desire to get into the industry. Now though, the strategy has really changed over the years. Now you're starting to see like Naughty Dog work on a couple different projects, right? So as one wraps up, they shift those people instead of laying them off. Dude, why would you give up great talent, right? Like, that's the other side of it. If you have great talent, then you take that talent and you shift them on to the next project because, well, once you're done one project, Scott, hopefully you're going to start another one, right? Like, that's the big thing.
Yeah, generally a massive success like these big companies have all seen. They follow up with a very quick project to jump onto. I can't believe 100 people. It seems extreme. Even for, if this were the old case of that happening, that's still an obscene amount of people. I'm wondering how many, is that an entire developer front?
Well, you kind of wonder, right?
Location, yeah.
As a result, 9% of its current workforce will part ways with the company. The layoffs will not be immediate, with some employees expected to leave in March 2024. Kaczynski clarified, quote, in the spirit of transparency, they've chosen to share the information now so that team members have ample time to process and adjust to the change, end quote. Affected employees will receive comprehensive severance packages, which is always nice to hear. That is kind of the proper practice when it comes to owning a business and letting people go. But quote,
yeah, I sort of see that as a bare minimum in my opinion. But
it is like, hey, here, you serve your time. Here's a little bit of cash. Thanks for being here, right? Like, it's kind of, yeah, it sucks. I'm sure they'd rather just stick around and be there day in, day out, working on whatever next cool project is coming around the door. Next Witcher, maybe, right? Like, that's kind of how you want to be. And when you go to these companies, you're hoping to be there long term, not short term. But although our paths will diverge professionally, I believe the relationships we have built can remain strong, Kaczynski said, addressing those affected. Your quote, your impact will resonate with CD Projekt Red, and we wish you nothing but success and fulfillment in the next chapter for your professional lives, end quote. Don't forget, Scott, Gwent is one of the games they did shut down, which then, what do you do with that team, right? You transition them over to The Witcher. They announced layoffs for that last month. So there's a lot of things kind of remaining. They will be. The cool part is, which I didn't expect to see, like most times, hey, we're hitting with layoffs, we're done, you're out, right? Not till 2024 though. Maybe there's an opportunity for some of these individuals who have been affected to stick around. Hey, you know what? We did lay you off. Now we've had something else kind of pop up. Let's push you over here instead.
Oh, that is an emotional.
Oh, dude, it's a roller coaster.
Chair. That's awful. Yeah. Hopefully, these people can find something else to move on to. But I just speaking from personal experience, I wouldn't want to stay around in a company that wants to get rid of me. That's so awkward.
Yeah, people do have bills to pay, right? So at least you're able to kind of hopefully stick around till 2024. But the idea is to find something before that time comes up. So it allows people the time, ample time, hopefully, move on to some other studio and then build something else out and work on another cool game. So again, hopefully everybody's able to land on their feet. Our hearts are with everybody on this one. Scott, continue on some more disappointing news. Dude, this is not a hot show so far. Man, we gotta spice things up here, but let's get into it. I do like this game though. It's Sea of Thieves. Season 10 has been delayed till October. It's not the end of the world. We do have content to play. It's not like Sea of Thieves has nothing else to do. But this is Tom Ivan over at VGC. The company said in a blog post and a video update that it needs a couple of extra months to work on introducing new systems for the open world multiplayer pirate game, which I can appreciate. Dude, I'm this close to diving right back in. I'm like, oh man. But either way, Season 9 launched in March, and each season typically be expected to last around 3 months. Rare had been planning to launch Season 10 in August, but on Wednesday, it said it had made the difficult decision to push Season 10's launch to October 19th. Quote, "It's not a decision we've taken lightly, and we share your disappointment. That's something we've needed to do," head of community Christina McGrath wrote. "However, after careful consideration, we firmly believe that that's the best thing to do for the quality of the release, the sustainability of our development process, and the well-being of our team." Dude, I appreciate that very much. The well-being of your team. Yep.
Big points on that last part, yeah. Because the team is, as we've just discussed, the team is the important part. These are the people who we're dealing with.
Yeah, and if you can just a couple extra months, I'm okay with that. Now if we get in October though, we get some like the Halloween pirate theme. That's where I'm going. I'm just saying. Like obviously they have a
your
roadmap,
favorite.
but no, yeah, I don't mind Halloween. It's just not my favorite time of season. That's all. But
That's fair.
I like that they are taking into account that their team, you know, is number one, and that's who they have to take in consideration when developing this particular game and any game. We hear often about crunch within our industry, and this allows that to kind of hopefully alleviate some of that crunch time that they get into, because when you are so close to wrapping up something, you do put in the extra hours, and man, it makes for a long day when you do that sometimes, and you just get out into the burnout phase. And if you're able to not worry about burnout, that gives us not only a better product, but allows your team to stick around and have more energy and feel better about themselves as well. She added,
"Oh, absolutely.
Quote, those who have caught the recent episode of our podcast will have heard us discussing the challenges of implementing new systems into a game like Sea of Thieves. These types of fundamentals releases are challenging to make, as we have to ensure they interact with all the existing systems in the game. Dude, the new season always complicates something, doesn't it?"
Oh yes, and think about how massive this game is now.
Yeah.
It released so many years ago, and each system on top of each other. Recently, we were speaking about Diablo and how there's only so many updates they can do, and because of complicated matters, this is no different.
No, absolutely not. One such challenge has been the Season 10 headline feature, which we've already talked about as something that we found to get tougher than anticipated to pull together, especially to the quality bar we're striving to meet. Again, right? It's just one of those things. They want to have the best experience, which is awesome to see. So if they could just take a little bit more time, I'm down for that. This also includes a free, though, Part 3 DLC expansion, The Secret of Monkey Island, which we have started. Steve and myself will be reviewing that on next week's episode. So make sure you stick around for that, for inside the game. But dude, they have lots of content in here. I know people are always like, okay, what's next, especially in a game like this, right? Xbox has found that games as service model with Sea of Thieves, and it just keeps pumping out more content. We've had some of the best experiences in here with Jack Sparrow making his way, and now we're getting into The Secret of Monkey Island. I've got a few thoughts on that. In this way, this one here too has been particularly different than usual because it's episodic. We wrapped it up and we're like, oh, we can't get into part 2 yet, eh? That was kind of that kind of hurt a little bit because I just wanted to continue on the story. But we'll talk about that on the show.
That's a good testament to the game. You just want to play more and more. And you gave me a thought, actually. I am not a fan of live service games. I think I can say that with honesty, but this is a great example of one. I really can't complain about how Sea of Thieves has worked out so far.
It's worked out great, absolutely. So it had a strong launch with everybody jumping in, but then it felt very empty, right? And it kind of reminds me again of that No Man's Sky scenario where they came out and everybody's like, yeah, this is kind of like, what else do I get to do? And now they're on like episode or season whatever 100 and new DLC and this, that, and the other. Here we get into Sea of Thieves, and now we're getting into season 10, Scott. You know what I mean? Like back then, did you really anticipate season 10 coming around? So good on Rare for being upfront and saying, hey, you know what? We're just not quite ready yet. We want to get to this bar and make sure we get everything covered, so that it is tougher though when you work on one season to the next, make sure that everything that implements for the newest season does work and doesn't break the game like Diablo.
And this is going to October. We have plenty of things to play in September. We'll be all right.
Oh my goodness, do we have so much to play in September? Scott, EA confirmed Skate 4 playtests will come to consoles, but there's no date yet. This is Michael Harradence over at PSU. Electronic Arts has revealed on its official website that Skate 4 playtests will eventually grind their way onto consoles at some point down the line. Well done, Michael.
Oh boy.
Although the publishing behemoth doesn't have a date to share right now. Quote, we also want to give a shout out to the console skate community. Yes, we are still currently only playtesting on PC, but we promise console playtesting will be coming. We don't have a date to share just yet, but stay tuned. End quote. Scott, are you looking forward to Skate 4?
I am a big fan of Skate, actually. Have you played any of them? The 3 titles have gone since the 360 days.
Yeah, I've dabbled more or less, right? I was more of a Tony Hawk guy back in the day. Dude.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, I was in there pretty heavily playing Tony Hawk with my brother a lot. And then from there, I just kind of fell off, to be honest. And then Skate showed up. I was like, I'll check it out. But I've never really been into the Skate scene. So, I don't know. I know the hype behind it, and I can appreciate where they're going, because I know a lot of people are really anticipating this title to come out. It's been in development for a very long time now, too, at this point. So to finally get some playtesting in there for console guys and girls, it's fantastic. It's nice to see that transition not be left out of the mix, right? Everybody goes on PC just because that's what they're making it on and building on, and then now they just got to port it over and let some of us in as well.
I'm wondering how it works with the PC controls, because I've only played on console, of course, but the thumbstick is how you control everything. So is that the mouse? But then how do I control where my heading is? I have many questions.
No, absolutely. Man, I'm sure they can figure it out, right? But yeah, when we're so used to playing some of these games, it's always been on controller, and that is my preferred play style to start with. So I don't know, dude, all those PC dorks out there, got to play something. Scott, Xbox fans are upset, man. Xbox users are not happy about the new dashboard feature. I was like, really? This is Rory Young over at GameRant. In a Reddit thread titled, quote, please tell me I can get rid of this, end quote, user Spider Wolfer says that the new update has punished them with an awful, unmovable tab. The tab in question is labeled most played games, and to the surprise of Spider Wolfer and others, it doesn't actually list the Xbox users' most played games. Instead, it lists the most popular games on Xbox as a whole. Scott, people are hurt, man.
Yeah, that seems a little less personalized and a little more commercialized, but
very much so. Spider Wolfer is asking for the option to remove this tag, or at least be able to move it underneath tabs they'd be more interested in seeing. Games listed under the most played games tab include Fortnite, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Roblox, Grand Theft Auto 5, Diablo 4, and Rainbow Six Siege. Dude, I've got 2 out of that mix on my library.
Like, those all look okay to me. Roblox doesn't do anything for me, but everything else there is okay.
Spider Wolfen, or Wolfer? He's gotta type in here. I'm gonna say Wolfer, dude. Makes it clear that they don't even own most of these games, but also aren't interested in these games that they do have access to. This is the weird maneuvers. God, the Xbox has always been pushing the boundaries to have inclusiveness for Xbox gamers. This is what you want. This is how you can customize it. This is how you make it your own, right? And how they kind of start moving forward and brought in Game Pass and the ability to kind of take things everywhere and this, that, and the other. But they've always been gamer focused. To see this does feel like hey, you might as well just threw up the store on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like the looks of that. But is this a worse update than the Avatar update of the 360 days? It seems like they're arguing for first right now, but
yeah, I get it. I do like the new look of the dashboard. I appreciate where they're heading that direction. It's weird to see it because it's on my wife's Xbox, but not mine. So
yeah, I don't have it yet.
Oh man, our buddy Kyle got it the other day. He says, dude, just go in and do this, and away you go. I'm like, it says it's coming soon on my Xbox still, and I'm still waiting to see it. But I do like how they've been able to maneuver things. But dude, when it comes to most popular, I don't want the most popular and most played games. I want the most played games that I'm playing, right? Which is currently the status right now. When it comes up, you have the most, your current games are right there. So you just click on that tab and away you go. You're into that game and you're done. I don't need to see stuff from the store. If I want to go to the store, I will go to the store.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. This kind of reminds me of any changes you make to a community. A lot of the time you face backlash, even if it's not a crazy change. And this reminds me of Facebook. Way back in the day when Facebook changed their dashboard, and I pledged I was going to leave, and I did not.
Yeah, nobody's going to leave. They just want some adjustments. So hopefully Xbox will take into account some of the feedback and get this flipped around. At least let us move it, or just let it be our games. Scott, one studio I always keep my eye on is Turtle Rock, and their next game may be another Left 4 Dead spiritual successor. This has got to have fans rather excited.
Oh, yes, it does.
This is from Sarif Saeed over at VG247. Turtle Rock, the team made up of veterans Left 4 Dead developers, specializes in creating co-op shooters. Its first project, Evolve, rest in peace, man. Can we get an Evolve 2? Just, dude, I'm done. That's it. This is the article. We're just talking about, no, we can't. I'd love to talk about Evolve. I love that game so much. And I was so disappointed when it shut down. I think they were just a little bit maybe ahead of their time when it came to making it, right? So I wonder then if there is an opportunity to give us Evolve 2. If you didn't know what Evolve was, sorry, I'm going off. Welcome to the show. We're going off the rails. Dude, if Evolve was there, you were a monster and you leveled up, but then you had 4 others. Scott, I can't, 4 or 5? 4, right?
I think it was 4.
Yeah, 4 others, and they were hunters, but they all had their own special class to go out and then get the monster. But you, as a monster, to survive and then eat everything and then level up and then take out those. Oh, dude, it was such a cool mechanic. I played it for a very long time. Love being the monster. That was the cool part too. I love being the monster or the trappers. Dude, I played the trapper a lot.
I never got to be the monster.
Oh man, it was so much fun. And then the evolution of your monster getting bigger and bigger with each one. Yo, man, 3 stages for the monster. It was so cool. But the Turtle Rock team is most notably known for Left 4 Dead. So this is where they're going back into, right? But it wasn't the big success they had hoped it would be, but the studio bounced back with an excellent Back 4 Blood. That was the next step in their evolution of Turtle Rock. Scott, we played Back 4 Blood. Even I played that one.
Oh, yes. I played, as far as I know, all the DLC to it as well.
Oh.
I'm a big fan.
Big fan of Turtle Rock in general. And now it looks like the studio has begun working on its next project, which unsurprisingly is going to be a co-op shooter. As spotted by Games Radar, Turtle Rock put up a job ad for a senior combat designer. The role posted on Greenhouse has a list of requirements that include love of first-person shooters, co-op, and multiplayer games. While the description is careful not to divulge too many details, it does confirm the existence of melee and range combat, which admittedly isn't much given Turtle Rock's history, but at least suggests the studio's next game won't be, say, a medieval ARPG. We have seen a lot of those lately. So
that's funny.
The listing also hints that the game includes PvE and PvP elements, as there's a focus on how combat feels against AI and other players. Turtle Rock wants someone who has experience with class design and boss encounter design, which is yet another hint. Scott, it sounds like we're going back into that same formula once again. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I was thinking PvP elements. Well, does that disclude Left 4 Dead? And then my memory just took a couple seconds. No, I remember the online was quite busy for that. PvP was a smashing success and a good memory from high school for myself. I love those games.
Dude, it sounds like if they get back into Left 4 Dead situation, dude, like Back 4 Blood took that Left 4 Dead scenario and just kind of did a couple different changes, right? They twisted it. They introduced this card system, which some liked, some didn't. It was a different mechanic, that's for sure. But it was exciting to see them move and evolve on. Are we going back to Left 4 Dead, or is this a brand new IP, you think?
Well, I'm not certain if Left 4 Dead can continue.
It's Valve, right?
Yeah, I believe they own it still, and that's why it had to kind of just change title to Back 4 Blood.
Yeah.
But I would just be as satisfied with a Back 4 Blood sequel. I don't know how you would name that. I'm trying to come up with a clever idea for adding the number into the title, but
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. Although it was just a smash success, just add a little bit more of that creative character humor, and you have a smash again.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they can kind of keep going on that lineage of the Left 4 Dead scenario, that Back 4 Blood, and keep that momentum going, or just get into a different situation like they did with Evolve. There's so many questions to see what they're making next. But I'm just happy that Turtle Rock is still around and they're able to kind of keep going. They said they had to shut down Back 4 Blood because it just wasn't keeping the community around enough. So I'm wondering what's next and how long are we going to be here waiting to see what is coming next, because, well, we all know games are hard to make and they take years to get here, Scott. Scott, it is not a quiet day on the game release forefront. What do we have? Holy.
Yeah, hold on for this. This is a list. We have Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, and that is on both the Xboxes, the PlayStations, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Control the crowd and strike with a timely blow for a tasty reward. Unbelievable! It's
Arcadian Atlas comes to PC, Mac, and Linux, believe it or not. Consoles are coming later this year. Great Ambition of the Slimes comes to PC. Let's School on PC. The Room VR, A Dark Matter, is now on PlayStation 5 and the PSVR 2. The Expanse, a Telltale series, Episode 1, is now out on both the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
The coordinates on that data drive, they're for the MK core.
We got a job, Baratnas.
Cox promised us a real payday. He said, give me 3 months, and you never have to work again.
Radiant Tale is on the Switch. Return to Monkey Island is now available on the iOS and Android. That's pretty cool. I think I'm going to check that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got stories about ships, fights, love, treasure, betrayal.
Operate Now, Hospital is on the Nintendo Switch, and Grand Emprise, Time Travel Survival is on PC.
Man, so many games, Scott. Well, that'll wrap up today's episode, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. We'll be back again tomorrow, like always. I'm Drew, that's Scott.
We'll see you inside the game.